With my 1-year-old son, what happened for me to feel so unsafe that I felt like I had to flee my country whilst I was pregnant to keep my son alive, and what has happened since then to prevent me from returning to my country. This is the video you're going to find the answers to those questions. Back on the 20th of January in 2020, I made my first ever TikTok account called Whistleblower. And this was an account where I spoke about things that had happened to me within the social services system whilst I was a looked after child. I was in 127 placements in 36 schools, and I sued the local authority for £1.6 million out of court settlement for neglection, failure to provide a safe environment, and many other charges which they accepted out of court, including damaging, grooming and sexual exploitation. Although many women came forward and spoke about their child abuses for the first time, and that gave them strength, I was trolled and bullied to a severe extent, to the point where I had to prove everything that I ever said on this app, which I did. I was spending a lot of time on live videos, staying up late with people, telling these stories about my childhood. This led to me beginning to drink, which then led to me taking cocaine because I was tired. I needed to stay up to tell these stories. I didn't need to, I got sucked into it. I was also a dominatrix at the time because although that I had a large amount of financing compensation, it was taken by solicitors who I had great difficulty getting the money from. All of that information about my childhood and the finances which I received is not going to be covered in this video. I was actually suffering with a kidney problem or some kind of problem at the time, where I had a pain in my back and I was often vomiting and rolling around in agony due to this pain. It's important to note that I was actually celibate for around 2 years, and I was up until just before I made the TikTok account, I'd been celibate for about 18 months, and then I started to stupidly mess around with the weed guy for 3 weeks. He assaulted me and I had him prosecuted and never saw him again, and then I returned to my celibacy. So the 28th of December, before I made the TikTok account, about 4 weeks before, is when I ended the relationship. I was then celibate until May. On the 1st of May, which is my birthday, I slept with a friend of mine at my birthday party stupidly off my face. On the 7th of May, I saw my ex-boyfriend and spent a night with him. And on the 14th of May, I was live on TikTok and I was in pain with my back kidney problem in the morning. And I expressed that I was going to the shop to buy some painkillers, and one of the followers said, buy a pregnancy test when you're there. My period wasn't due until the 22nd. So I thought, okay, I'll do the test to bide me some time while I'm rolling around the floor vomiting. It's going to be negative. The test came up positive, and within the minute of me even processing that, the followers turned against me and an argument broke out within the live feed because I had been drinking the night before. The followers were quite rude to me. I said some horrible things, they said some horrible things, and within the hour the police were at my door thinking that I was heavily pregnant, injecting heroin into my pregnant body, which was not true. I have never been a heroin addict or had problems with heroin. My father injected me with heroin once, tried to kill me when I was 17 or 18 years old, and that is the only time that I have ever taken heroin. The police came to my house 5 or 6 times every day under false allegations that I was dead. The ambulances came to my house, takeaways came to my house all day that I hadn't ordered, taxis all day that I hadn't ordered, dog wardens came, everything and anything that you can order without paying for it up front, it came to my house. Carpet cleaners, window cleaners, you name it, they ordered it. The social services also came to my house, but not long before I left. They asked me, am I pregnant? I said I hadn't had time to confirm it yet at the window, and they told me if I am, I was advised to abort the pregnancy. I didn't have any information on what they thought of me or what they had been told by these people at this time, so I was quite offended. I closed my window, told her to fuck off. I booked my flight and I left. No, I didn't book my flight at that point actually, because I had been contacting the police from the 14th of May when this started myself, explaining to them that I was a victim of trolling, that malicious lies were being made about me, that my character was being attacked online, and that none of this was true, and that I need the police to stop coming to my house on false allegations that I am dead, because I am not dead. I'm not suffering with mental health problems. They was telling the police that I was in a violent relationship, being beaten up every day, that I was trying to unalive myself every day, and that I was also injecting Class A drugs on TikTok Live, an app where you can't smoke a cigarette. Upon realising that the police were not going to help me, excuse me, they didn't believe me. I left my home and I went to a hotel in Liverpool while I got my passport for one night. I closed all of the curtains in the hotel and I sat on the bed on live and I was crying. The followers came to the conclusion that I had gone for an abortion, and I let them believe that in order to give me some time to get out of the country. At this time I had already decided that I was going to leave and take some time to visit a friend in another country, let things blow over and then come back. The police showed up at my hotel within 10 minutes of me being there, and under the influence that I was dead in the room. I wasn't dead, I wasn't trying to harm myself. They actually knocked on the door as I was walking out of the door. I went to eat in a restaurant in Liverpool. They also sent a random person to the restaurant that I didn't know. I had to get security to move these people. That confirmed for me that I was not safe, not being heard and not being believed, and had to leave the country. My home was still being attacked even while I wasn't there. The Smithy family, who are a big creator on TikTok and YouTube, had just had the house burnt down the week before this had started with me. And another creator on here, I can't remember her name, I think it was Geordie Princess, she had had a window shot through that week, and I was not taking any chances. It had got to the point where I was too scared to take my 2 German Shepherds downstairs to the toilet in my own house, because the door was just going every 5 minutes with the police. On one instance I was out walking my dogs and the police kicked off my door because I wasn't able to answer it because I was walking my dogs. I left the UK and first travelled to northern Cyprus, where the people who were stalking me found me within 2 weeks, and I left and moved on to Portugal. When in Portugal I rented a Airbnb for 4 weeks. I asked the 2 potential fathers of my baby to visit me to do a DNA test, which I would pay for everything. One rejected the offer, the other one accepted. We had a disagreement on the phone and he leaked my address of the first place. So then the police continued to run through the building. They didn't know what room I was in, but they would run through the building, knocking on every door, thinking that somebody was dead inside the property. I had to leave, losing my 1 month rent, which was £1,500. I then found a beautiful villa, a 4-bedroom villa with a private gate and a private community with a pool and everything, where I could relax and enjoy my pregnancy. I posted a photograph on a hill just down the road from this, and then I posted in a restaurant which gave up my location. Stupidly, I'm not accustomed to being on the run. I'm just trying to live, do you know what I mean? They sat on Google Maps for 7 days and stalked me until they found the villa. They then had the police almost ram the gate to the private entrance because there was no buzzer, telling them that there was a pregnant woman hanging inside. I had to leave short notice and I lost £4,000 moving from this property. I then left Portugal. I continued to move around and be stalked like this until I was 6 months pregnant. I eventually ended up in Turkey and went to a hotel where the bomb squad was called to the hotel. I had a major panic attack. I was 6 months pregnant at this time. I had a major panic attack and I didn't feel safe. On this day I contacted the UK services. I'd been in touch with the UK police since I left the UK. I'd got into touch with the social services and asked what support can they offer me if I return in terms of safety. I don't really need parenting advice, I need a way to keep myself safe, but I would accept advice on parenting, I guess. They couldn't offer me anything to keep me safe. The police were also and still are useless. I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this video as the time has run out. Why am